Cole stood quietly in the grand hall of the alien palace. His eyes were wide as he looked around. The room was huge, filled with strange lights and shining metal walls. Tall columns rose up to a high ceiling that seemed to touch the stars. The air was cold, but calm. This was the heart of the Zarellan Empire, a place no human had ever been before. At the far end of the hall sat the alien queen. She was a tall figure, strong and proud. Her skin was a deep shade of blue, smooth and shining like polished stone. Her eyes burned with anger. Her long dark hair fell like a river behind her shoulders. She wore a silver crown that sparkled under the lights. Around her neck were jewels that glowed softly. Everyone in the room looked small compared to her power. Cole's heart beat fast. He had never seen anyone so fierce. But he knew his mission was important. He was the chosen human diplomat sent to make peace between Earth and the Zarellan Empire. The galaxy was tense. Both sides had suffered losses. War was near. But Cole hoped words could stop the fighting. The Queen's voice echoed through the hall. "Why have you come here with broken promises and lies?" Her tone was cold and sharp like ice. Cole took a deep breath. He stepped forward, his hands open and calm. "Your Majesty, we did not mean to disrespect you. The artifact we brought is shattered." The Queen interrupted, her voice rising. "This peace token was sacred to my people. You have insulted us." Behind Cole, the other humans shifted nervously. The Zarellan guards placed their hands on their weapons. The room was thick with tension. Some thought this could be the start of war. Cole looked at the Queen carefully. She was angry, yes, but she was also proud and strong. To survive as a leader in her world, she needed respect. He wanted to show her something different, something no one had dared say before. He spoke slowly with honesty. "Your Majesty, I see your anger. But you are beautiful even when you are angry." The hall went silent. All eyes turned to Cole. The Queen's mouth opened slightly, her voice caught in her throat. She froze like a statue. The guards stopped moving. Even the lights seemed to dim for a moment. Cole felt the weight of his words. No one had ever said that to the alien queen, especially not in a moment like this. He waited, unsure of what would happen next. The Queen's sharp eyes studied him. Then slowly she lowered her head and motioned to the guards. "Release him. I want to speak with him alone." The guards hesitated but obeyed. They stepped back, leaving only Cole and the Queen in the grand hall. The Queen's anger softened a little. Her voice was quieter, almost curious. "Why do you say such a thing? You are a human. Your kind does not understand Zarellan pride." Cole bowed his head respectfully. "On Earth, beauty is more than skin. It is strength, courage, and truth. When you are angry, it shows how much you care." I spoke from my heart. Vaelzari, the Queen, looked away for a moment, then back at him. "Your honesty is strange, but not unwelcome." Cole smiled gently. "I only speak what I see." For the first time in the room, the Queen smiled. It was small but real. The tension in the air began to fade. The walls seemed less cold. "Come," she said. "Walk with me." They left the throne room and entered a long corridor filled with glowing plants. The colors were strange but beautiful. The Queen's steps were slow and steady. Cole followed quietly. "This peace token," Vaelzari said, "was given to me by my mother. It represents the hope of our people. To see it broken, it hurts more than you can know." Cole nodded. "I understand, and I want to fix this. Not just the token, but the trust between our worlds." The Queen stopped and looked at him again. "Humans are bold, some say reckless. You risk much by speaking to me like this." Cole met her gaze. "Because I believe in peace." Vaelzari's expression changed. There was respect there now, and something softer, something like hope. "Very well, human. You may stay in my palace longer than your delegation allows, but be warned, our customs are different. You may find them difficult." Cole smiled. "I will learn. For peace, I will try." As they walked back toward the throne room, the queen's voice was softer. "You are unlike any human I have met. This may be the start of something new." Cole felt a spark of hope in his chest. The galaxy was dangerous and uncertain, but maybe, just maybe, a simple, honest word could change everything. The palace halls were quieter now. Most of the guards had returned to their posts, and the human delegation waited anxiously outside the queen's chambers. But Cole was still inside, walking beside Queen Valzari. The tension from before had softened, replaced by a strange curiosity. Valzari looked at Cole with eyes full of questions. "Tell me, human, why do you speak so boldly to me? Others only offer lies and flattery. You surprised me." Cole smiled slightly. "I do not like lies or false words. I say what I feel. You are strong and proud. When you are angry, you still carry a kind of beauty." The queen's face showed a hint of confusion. "Beauty? For a warrior queen, that is a dangerous compliment." Cole nodded. "Maybe, but I believe it is true." Valzari walked slowly through the large chamber, filled with strange decorations and glowing crystals. She paused by a window that looked out over the city, its towers piercing the purple sky. "Humans and Zirellans are very different," she said softly. "Our people have fought wars for centuries. Our customs, our feelings, they do not often match." Cole looked at her carefully. "That is why we must try harder to understand each other. If not, we will only destroy what little hope remains." The queen turned to him. "You speak of hope, but many here believe humans are weak, that your strength is only in numbers, not in heart." Cole shook his head. "Strength comes in many forms. Sometimes it is in the courage to speak honestly when others are silent." Valzari studied him for a long moment. "Your courage is rare. Most humans would have cowered or lied to save themselves." Cole smiled again. "I prefer truth, even if it is difficult." Suddenly the queen's expression changed. Her voice grew serious. "You must understand, human, that not all in my court welcome this change. There are those who want war. They see your people as threats." Cole felt a chill. "Then we have even more reason to find peace." Valzari nodded slowly. "Perhaps, but I will test you. My people have rituals to measure trust and loyalty. You must pass these if you are to stay." Cole did not hesitate. "I accept. Tell me what I must." To the queen's eyes sparkled with a strange light. "Very well. Tomorrow you will begin the trials." As Cole left the chamber, his mind raced. He had no idea what these tests would be, but he knew he had to face them with courage and respect. The future of two worlds depended on it. The next day, Cole stood before the council chamber, a large circular room filled with important figures of the Zirellan Empire. Their faces were serious and unreadable. At the center stood Valzari, her presence commanding silence. The first test was simple but strange. Cole was given a delicate crystal bowl filled with water. He was told to carry it without spilling. A drop through a long corridor filled with obstacles. Many thought it was a trick, a test of patience and focus. Cole moved carefully, his steps slow but steady. The courtiers watched closely. Some whispered doubts. Halfway through, a sudden vibration shook the corridor. Cole stumbled but managed to steady himself. Not a drop spilled. When he reached the end, the queen nodded in approval. "This shows control and calm," she said. "Good." Next came a test of knowledge. Cole was asked questions about Zirellan history and customs. He admitted what he did not know but showed willingness to learn. The council murmured but respected his honesty. The final test was the most difficult, a ritual where Cole had to endure a mild pain from a small device placed on his arm. The pain was sharp but brief. Cole clenched his teeth but did not move or complain. Valzari watched him closely, her eyes revealing something deeper than anger or pride: respect. After the trials, Cole was taken to a private room to rest. The queen sent a message that she wished to speak with him again. That evening, Valzari appeared in the chamber quietly. Her usual armor was replaced by a simple robe that showed her graceful form. Her expression was softer than before. Doe. You always speak from your heart, human? She asked quietly. Cole looked at her and nodded. Only when it matters. Valzari smiled, a real smile that lit her eyes. You are different from others. Most hide behind words. You stand in truth. Cole felt warmth inside. I want to build trust between our peoples. I believe honesty is the way. The queen moved closer. Trust is fragile. It can be broken in a moment. I know, Cole replied. But it can also grow stronger than steel. They talked, long into the night, sharing stories of their worlds, their fears, and their hopes. Valzari told Cole about her childhood, about the burden of leadership and the weight of expectation. Cole shared stories from Earth, about kindness, mistakes, and dreams for a better future. For the first time, the queen felt a connection, not as a ruler and stranger, but as two beings seeking peace. The next day, rumors began to spread in the palace. The queen smiled more often. Her anger seemed less fierce. Some council members whispered warnings. The human is dangerous. He may weaken the queen's resolve. But Valzari ignored them. She was curious about Cole, about what he brought, not just words, but hope. Cole knew the road ahead was still hard. Many forces wanted to see the galaxy burn. But he was ready. Because sometimes, the simplest words, spoken with courage, could change even the hardest heart. Days passed in the great palace of the Zerellan Empire, but for Cole, time felt different. Each moment was filled with new challenges, strange customs, and the quiet but strong presence of Queen Valzari. The anger she had shown earlier had softened into something more complex, yet the weight of her role still pressed heavily on her shoulders. Valzari watched Cole closely as he learned the ways of her people. She was both queen and warrior, a leader who had faced countless battles and made hard choices for her empire's survival. She knew that trusting a human was a risk, but something about Cole made her wonder if this could be different. That morning, Valzari approached Cole with a serious look. Today you will face my final test, she said. It is not simple like before. It will challenge your mind, your body, and your spirit. Cole nodded. I am ready. The test took place in a wide training hall filled with alien weapons, glowing targets, and strange machines. Zerellan warriors stood in silence, watching carefully. Valzari explained, This trial is a ritual of honor. You will face 3 tasks. The first is patience. You must wait for the right moment to act. Cole listened, trying to understand. The queen handed him a small sword, light but sharp. You must protect yourself without striking first. The warriors around him moved swiftly, pretending to attack. Cole stayed calm, blocking and dodging without swinging his sword. The second task was wisdom. A series of puzzles appeared on glowing panels. Cole had to solve them quickly to unlock the next stage. Though the puzzles were strange, based on Zerellan, history, and logic, Cole focused. He admitted when he didn't know the answer but used what he learned from the queen's lessons. The final test was strength and endurance. Cole had to carry a heavy metal shield through a narrow path while facing loud noises and sudden obstacles. Many before him had failed, dropping their shields or stumbling. Cole gripped the shield tightly. His arms ached, but he kept moving step by step. When he reached the end, the queen's voice filled the hall. You have passed the trial of the Zerellan honor. Valzari stepped forward, her eyes shining with pride. You carry yourself with respect for our customs. You do not hide behind fear or anger. Cole bowed his head. Thank you, Your Majesty. I only want peace. The queen smiled faintly. Peace requires trust, and trust is earned, not given. Later that evening, Cole sat in a quiet room, resting, his tired muscles. Valzari entered without knocking. She wore simple clothes, her usual armor replaced by a soft robe. The change surprised Cole. You did well today, she said, sitting beside him. I watched your every move. Cole smiled. Your lessons helped. Valzari looked away for a moment, then back at him. Do you always speak from your heart? Human? Cole met her gaze. Only when it matters. The queen's eyes softened. Most hide their true feelings behind words. You are different. They talked late into the night. Vialzari shared stories of her youth, how she was trained to be strong, how she lost friends in wars, and how the crown weighed heavily on her. Cole listened with respect. He shared tales of Earth, of friendship, mistakes, and the hope that still lived in humanity's heart. For the first time, Vialzari felt a connection beyond duty and politics. She saw a human who was brave, honest, and kind. As the moonlight touched the room, she asked quietly, "Why do you stay human? Why risk so much?" Cole replied, "Because I believe in what we can build together. Even if it is hard, even if others do not want it." The queen smiled, a real smile, full of warmth. "You are foolish but wise." Days passed and rumors spread through the palace. The queen smiled more often. She was less quick to anger, more open to listening. Some in her court whispered warnings. "The human changes her, it is dangerous." But Vialzari ignored them. She was curious about Cole, about what he offered the empire, and maybe something more. Cole knew the path was still difficult. Many wanted to see war, not peace. But he had faith, because sometimes the simplest truths, spoken bravely, could change even the hardest hearts. The palace was alive with celebration. The Zarellan Empire was preparing for a grand feast to honor the new peace talks between the humans and their people. Queen Vialzari had agreed to attend, and Cole, the human diplomat, was invited as her special guest. It was a sign of hope, but also a moment filled with danger. The grand hall was decorated with shining banners and glowing crystals. The air smelled of sweet spices and flowers from distant planets. The music was soft, and the guests moved gracefully, dressed in elegant clothes that shimmered under the lights. Cole stood beside the queen. Vialzari looked calm and regal. Her anger from before had softened, replaced by a quiet strength. She smiled at him briefly, a small gesture that spoke volumes. But not everyone in the room wished for peace. In the shadows, hidden from view, a cloaked figure moved silently. An assassin sent by those who opposed the queen's new friendship with the humans. Their goal was simple: to end the peace talks by killing the queen. The assassin carried a small, deadly device, a poison drone designed to attack without being seen. As the feast began, Cole noticed something strange. A slight movement near the high windows caught his eye. His training told him to be alert. Suddenly, a small drone flew quickly toward the queen. Cole reacted without thinking. He leaped forward, placing himself between the queen and the danger. The drone struck him in the chest, releasing poison through a tiny needle. Pain exploded in Cole's body. He gasped and stumbled, collapsing to the floor. The room erupted into chaos. Guards rushed to the queen's side while others tried to catch the fleeing assassin. Vialzari knelt beside Cole, her face filled with shock and fear. "Hold him, protect him," she ordered, her voice fierce. Cole struggled to breathe, his vision blurred, but he saw the queen's eyes, filled with worry and something he had never seen before. Tears. The healers arrived quickly. They worked with strange machines and medicines from both Zarellan and human science. The poison was strong, but Cole was strong too. Vialzari refused to leave his side. She sat quietly, holding his hand, whispering words he could not understand, but felt deeply. Hours passed like this, the palace silent except for the soft sounds of healing and hope. Finally, Cole's eyes opened. He saw the queen looking down at him, her face calm but tired. "You saved me," she said softly. "Now I must save you." Cole tried to smile. "We save each other." Vialzari's hand tightened around his. "You are foolish, human, but brave." Cole looked around the room. Guards stood watch. The council spoke in low voices, and the guests waited anxiously for news. The queen stood slowly. "This attack will not stop what we have begun. The peace talks will continue." Cole nodded weakly. Together. In the Ayatar days that followed, the palace grew tense again. The queen was more guarded, but she did not close her heart. Cole's recovery was slow, but he improved each day. The bond between them grew stronger. Vialzari spent long hours with him, sharing stories and secrets of her people. Cole learned about the burdens of leadership, the loneliness of power, the fear of betrayal, and the hope that sometimes flickered in the dark. One evening, as the two sat near a quiet window overlooking the stars, the queen spoke softly. "Why do you risk so much for a people who do not know you, who see you as a stranger?" Cole looked at her, steady and sure. "Because I believe in the future. I believe in peace. And because I see you, not just as a queen, but as a person." Vialzari smiled faintly, her eyes shining. "You are unlike any human I have known. You speak from your heart, and it changes me." Cole reached out and gently took her hand. "You are strong even when you are angry. You are beautiful." The queen's face flushed slightly. She looked away, but the warmth in her eyes was clear. In that moment, something unspoken passed between them, a promise of trust, respect, and maybe more. But outside the palace walls, not all was calm. The rival faction, angry and fearful of the changes, planned their next move. The galaxy was watching, and the future of peace depended on more than words. It depended on courage, sacrifice, and the strength of hearts willing to change. The healing chambers were quiet and soft, filled with warm light from glowing crystals. Cole lay on a smooth bed, still weak but slowly gaining strength. Queen Vialzari sat beside him, her face calm and thoughtful. The palace outside buzzed with activity, but here in this small room, time seemed to slow. Cole opened his eyes and saw the queen looking at him. She did not speak at first, but her eyes held a mix of emotions: concern, relief, and something deeper. Finally, she whispered, "You are foolish, but I have never been called beautiful like that." Cole smiled weakly. "I meant it, even when you are angry." Vialzari's lips curved into a small smile. She reached out and gently placed her hand on his chest. Those words, they touched something in me, something I did not expect. Cole looked into her eyes and said, "Sometimes the truth is the strongest thing we can offer." The queen studied him for a long moment. Then slowly she rose from the chair. "I want to show you what it means to be truly Zarellan," she said softly. "Not as a prisoner, not as a subject, but as someone I choose." Cole sat up a little, straighter, surprised but hopeful. Vialzari smiled warmly. "Our people have many traditions and stories. You will learn them. You will see our world through my eyes." Over the next days, Cole was no longer just a guest. He walked beside the queen, sharing meals, stories, and moments of quiet thought. The palace guards no longer watched him with suspicion. Instead, many nodded with respect. The peace talks continued, stronger than before. The humans and Zarellans began to trust one another. Leaders met, agreements were signed, and old wounds started to heal. But for Cole and Vialzari, the greatest change was between them. One evening, as they stood on a balcony overlooking the city's shining towers, Vialzari turned to him. "You are different, human. You saw me beyond the queen's anger and pride." Cole smiled gently. "Because I saw you as a person, not just a ruler." The queen's eyes softened. "And I saw your courage, your honesty. You changed not just me, but many in my empire." They stood together, watching the stars. Two worlds, once far apart, now linked by hope and respect. Vialzari took Cole's hand and said, "The future is uncertain, but with you I believe it can be brighter." Cole squeezed her hand. "Together we can face anything." As the night deepened, the queen and the human diplomat stood side by side, ready to build a new path. One of peace, trust, and a shared dream of a better galaxy. The story ends here, showing how courage, honesty, and simple words can change hearts and worlds. Would you like me to help with anything else, maybe a summary, character descriptions, or an image?